Truck drivers urgently wanted. An acute shortage of drivers is causing problems everywhere in Great Britain. One expert sees this coming to Germany sooner or later. In the supermarket, there are gaps on the shelves, and despite Brexiteer claims, dairy farmers are left sitting on their milk. There are no mattresses at IKEA, and there's a lack of important chemicals in sewage treatment plants. There's hardly an industry that is not complaining in Great Britain these days. The reason is almost always the same. There is a lack of people who can get things from A to B. These are usually people who drive trucks. According to the Road Haulage Association, the UK is currently short of around 100,000 of them, as I several times said before. As is so often the case, this is also due to Brexit and its hurdles. In addition, the corona pandemic has exacerbated the situation. But the experts do not expect the island to be left alone with the problem. What is happening in Great Britain has been accelerated by Brexit. But I firmly assume that we will have a similar situation in Western Europe only a little bit later, said Dirk Engelhardt from the Federal Association of Freight Transport Logistics and Waste Management in an interview with a German press agency. He said, "We warn that we will face a supply collapse in Western Europe as well. In Germany too, there were already between 60,000 and 80,000 truck drivers missing, according to Engelhardt, and according to him, the trend is rising. Every year, around 30,000 drivers retire and only around 15,000 young people are coming. There is a worldwide need for drivers," he says. The shortage has a lot to do with the fact that the job of truck driver, which has been less common up to now, is perceived less and less attractive. Long waiting times and traffic jams, it's difficult to reconcile family and work, and a great lack of suitable parking spaces where you can safely stand at night or shower and eat. In addition, trucks are perceived as large, noisy polluters who do not feed other road users, but rather disturb them. The drivers are worried about the bad image. We need a new perception of the job, says Engelhardt. While the driver shortage in Germany still goes unnoticed in many places, in the UK it is already evident when shopping at the supermarket. There are always bottlenecks in various products, and there are unusually large gaps on the shelves. The BBC interviewed a dairy farmer who was about to throw away thousands of liters of milk because it was not picked up as usual. The Guardian reported on relaxed rules for sewage treatment plants that cannot carry out certain processes because they lack the appropriate chemicals. The first supermarkets are expecting price increases if things continue like this, and there is no improvement in sight for the time being. A spokesman for Prime Minister Boris Johnson said on Friday that unlike the Food Association, they do not expect the shortages to last. Yeah, they were away from reality for quite some time already anyway. During the pandemic, many European drivers, for example from Poland or Romania, left the UK and returned to their families in their home countries. There are several reasons why many of them will not return. On the one hand, the free movement of EU workers has been a thing of the past since Brexit, and complex and expensive visa procedures are necessary. At the same time, however, drivers are also needed in many other European countries, so that the attraction of Great Britain is quite waning. New trade barriers and checks at the border make the situation even more difficult. The shortage also contributes to falling exports to the EU, as the British Chamber of Commerce emphasizes. This also affects trade with Germany. You might have seen my video. For the first time in more than 70 years, Great Britain could no longer appear among the 10 most important trading partners of the Federal Republic, as current data shows. The British economy got off to a weak start in the second half of the year as well. The gross domestic product, the GDP, rose in July by 0.1% compared to the previous month, as the Statistics Office ONS announced on Friday. Overall economic output is still 2.1% below the level it had reached before the corona pandemic. Rising corona infections and a pronounced shortage of materials and workers are slowing recovery. In addition, there is the high shortage of truck drivers. The Road Haulage Association is calling for easier visa rules for foreign workers. Dirk Engelhardt from the German Industry Association is skeptical that this would solve the problem. With a view to Germany, he advocates the approval of longer trucks in which drivers with integrated sanitary facilities and better equipment can spend their rest periods more independently. Otherwise, Engelhardt sees this quite black, as we would say it in German. And something else we would say, hamster purchases, like at the beginning of the corona pandemic, could become daily business if countermeasures are not taken quickly, says the logistics expert. And he's not alone. In Great Britain, the head of the Icelandic supermarket chain has already warned that Christmas may have to be cancelled unless something finally changes. Because already now it's foreseeable that it could become difficult with the usual supplies that markets normally create before the holidays. And in the whole thing, I must say, which Engelhardt didn't mention really, is the Eastern European drivers can now work in Germany. So they are still better pay than at home, and they can make some money there, and it's not so far away like the UK, and they don't need visa or whatever. So maybe that will help for some time. I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.